There's only one Thomas Gollob. So say the fans and the cakes of Bydgoszcz. The man himself was also all smiles on the return to his hometown. But the question on everybody's lips is, would he be leaving the final round of 2009 a happy medalist or a Polish superhero? The undisputed king of the Shale at the Polonia Stadium has won here 7 times and needs another flawless performance if he stands any chance of stopping Jason Crump from becoming world champion again. The Australian stands on the edge of greatness after riding through the pain barrier in Italy to rescue his season from the jaws of disaster. Jason only managed 4 points from 5 rides in Terenzano, but how vital they might prove. Nursing a severely friction-burned arm, Superman Crump left not knowing if he'd done enough. A chance for the new boy wonder, perhaps. And last in his semi-final left Sayfutdinov sucking on fresh air. Only 11 points in total and unable to capitalise on the Ginger's misfortune. And so came the Gollob. A mistake by Hans Andersen in the final let the Dark Knight fly up the inside and power home to his 2nd win of the year. The Pole thanked the man upstairs for the massive 23 points, which has pushed him into 2nd in the championship and given him a glimmer of hope of grabbing his first world crown. If Jason self-destructs in Bydgoszcz, self-belief is definitely the name of the game as we head to Poland. Well, in the popularity stakes, this man is in a class of his own. Lee Adams has been part of the Grand Prix series for 14 years and has ridden in 114 GPs. But tonight will be his last. He's announced his retirement from SGP racing, and there's no doubt he'll go down as one of the best riders never to win the world title.
We made the decision at the start of the year, basically. We just, you know, people probably think that it's because of the results, but it's not at all. You know, look, we had a great year in 2007. Come back last year and it just didn't work out. You know, finished 6th and was disappointed, but showed glimpses. So we thought we'll give it one more year, and you know, it's not to be. I've just got to face the fact that I'm not going to be world champion and just you know, get on with things. And you know, I've got a family, a growing family. There's a lot more factors to think about now.
Well, Lee, you've brought a lot and you'll be sadly missed, but the show must go on. And for a group of riders, it's crunch time to see if they can finish in the top 8 and qualify automatically for next year's series. Hans Andersen holds the 8th and final spot going into the meeting, and is buoyed by a podium finish last time out. Situated in the north of Poland, the 8th biggest city in the country has been a GP venue for 13 years. It sits on the banks of the Bradar and Vistula rivers, and its waterways are enjoyed by tourists and locals alike, as are its museums, opera house, and its picturesque Old Town Square. Monuments, beautiful sculptures and red brick buildings of historical importance pepper the area. But the biggest draw of all is its infamous Speedway venue, the Polonia Stadium, first opened in 1924. They love their Speedway, and one man in particular, a local lad made good, Thomas Gollob. For everyone else who rides here, it's like fighting Gollob's own army of fans, an amazing wall of sound. A sellout crowd of over 20,000 were packed to the rafters to see if their man could end their 36-year wait for a Polish world champion. It would be an emotive night for both fan and rider alike. The pressure was on Crump. There was plenty of backing for the other Bydgoszcz favourite, Sayfutdinov. But the biggest cheer of all was for Top Gun Gollob. All Jason could do on the rider introductions was endure the intimidating atmosphere. A lot to be decided then, so who's going home with the biggest prize of all? Heat 1 was a classic Crump v Gollob showdown, and it was the master of Bydgoszcz who swept across from the outside into the lead, just what he needed. The championship leader was left trailing in 3rd place, but with a clever move claimed 2 precious points. Gollob was pumped, and Jason looked nervous. Lee Adams was out to impress in his GP swan song and made a great start in Heat 2. But not the start Lindgren was looking for, biting the dust early on. No points for him. The GP veteran obviously feeling the cold, but all smiles after his win. Outgoing world champion Nicky Pedersen made it 3 wins out of 3 from yellow. And in Heat 4, it was medal contender Sayfutdinov's time to impress the crowd. But the Russian made a poor start before blasting past Pierre to claim 2 points. The nerves were jangling for the 19-year-old. Plenty of butterflies at the start of Heat 5 for Crump. It was a typically hard first turn. And down the back straight, he just started to fight his way through from 3rd to pass Rune Holter on turn 4. Clearly, he was back to something like his old self after his injury. 4 points from 2 rides, halfway to the target. Seifuddinov came out of red in Heat 6 for his first win of the night. And worryingly for Hans Andersen, he only had 1 point from 2 rides. Fredrik Lindgren, also battling for that top 8 position, briefly led Heat 7, but was taken out by fellow Swede Andreas Jonsson and just managed to keep Kenneth Pierre at bay for 2 important points. Crump watched on as Gollob took to the track for the second time. And watch out for the grass tracking in the first turn. It helped him squeeze past Adams to keep the squeeze on the series leader. Outgoing champ Pedersen took out wildcard Madzinski for a point. But it was the top pole Gollob who rolled to 3 more vital points, and Crump became even more agitated. Gollob has done his job superbly so far. He can do no more than win 2 races out of 2, 6 points out of 6. The pressure's still on Jason Crump, but he's halfway towards his 8-point target. 4 so far from 2 rides, Kelvin.
Yeah, he's done a good professional job so far, Jason Crump, but as you rightly say, Gollob is keeping the pressure on. We're seeing him out here once again, desperate to get to that 8-point score.
Heat number 9 it is then. Gregor Valacek is going off the inside. Plenty of support for him here in Bydgoszcz, as well as Adrian Madzinski, the wild card, off 2. Jason Crump goes off gate 3, and Andreas Jonsson is going off the outside. And on paper, Kelvin, this appears to be Crump's easiest race of the night.
Never easy coming from gate 3, though, and Jonsson knows his way round here. Of course, he rides for Bydgoszcz.
Bikes roar, and away from the start they go. And has Jason Crump hit the front? Not quite. What a start that is from Adrian Madzinski in blue, a shock leader here, with the man in yellow, Andreas Jonsson, second, and Crump is working hard here. Locks up in that third turn to try and get up the inside of Andreas Jonsson. As it stands, just 1 more point to the total for Jason Crump with 2 rides to go, but he's putting pressure on Jonsson here now.
Brilliant stuff. Jonsson winds it on down the start and finish straight, just hanging on to second place. Super stuff from Madzinski after failing to score in his first 2 rides. Crump stuck back in third place. A point is better than nothing, but he would have wanted more.
Yes, this would take Jason Crump to 5 points with 2 programmed rides to go. Thomas Gollob still chasing a maximum score to win the world title. The lead in Heat 9 is with Adrian Madzinski. Andreas Jonsson is second. Jason Crump third. The man at the back is Gregor Valacek. And it looks increasingly like Jason Crump is going to have to settle for just 1 point as Jonsson challenges Madzinski up front. Could it be a tight finish to Heat 9? Madzinski's done enough. Great ride from him. Jonsson second. And Jason Crump gets a point and is now on 5 points from 3 outings so far. Madzinski the winner. Second place there went to Andreas Jonsson from Sweden. Jason Crump gets that point in third place. And at the back was Gregor Valacek. So still, Jason Crump with pressure on his shoulders.
He is, and you can see the tension there. He just edging closer to the 8 points that he needs to secure the World Championship. He battled hard there, but just couldn't get his way through to the front.
Nicky Pedersen's looking to lay a marker down for 2010, and he's in a fine bit of form. A good ride from the start in heat number 10 to take up the lead ahead of the 1997 world champion Greg Hancock. Kenneth Pierre, chasing a top 8 place, left disappointed, and Hans Andersen in a similar situation. Every point vital for Emil Seifuddinov, the rider in yellow here, the Russian looking to claim the silver medal. But what a start it was from Sebastian Ulemek in the blue helmet colour. Seifuddinov charged hard up the inside and almost clattered into Ulemek, and his wild riding put him in a vulnerable position.
It did indeed. He's just trying too hard. He knows how much these points are going to mean to him, but he's relegated himself back to third place. What a move that is. And I threw a needle there between Adams and Chris Harris. Seifuddinov trying everything he knows.
And Seifuddinov again going wide, and that allowed Lee Adams through for a vital second place as the race for the semi-finals was hotting up nicely. Seifuddinov disappointed then, dropped points in his battle for the silver medal. He really could have done with more than just that third place. Pressure on Gollob in blue here, has to continue winning. He's off gate number 2. Jason Crump's rival for the world title. Runeholter off the inside, Gollob off 2, Nichols off 3, Lindgren off the outside, and Gollob cannot afford a last place. If he finishes last here, that man will be world champion without turning another wheel.
Yeah, and you can see the tension in his face with the injury. Gollob beginning to concentrate, the lights on.
Pressure on gate number 2, bit of movement to the start, and Gollob hasn't made the start that he needed. That has gone to Freddie Lindgren in the yellow helmet colour, and Gollob is training in last place. This is sensational here.
Oh!
Watch him come hard down the back straight. Can he go from last to first? The lead is with Holter. The fans are on their feet cheering Thomas Gollob, but at the moment he's in a bit of trouble, Kelvin.
He is indeed. He's out the back again. He now chops back to the inside, clips the inside, forces his way back into third place. Gollob trying everything he knows. The outside run isn't working as well as he would like. Out in front, Runeholter charging away, desperate to get into the top 8. But the focus of attention once again is on Gollob, going wide. It isn't working.
There's nothing there for Gollob really to try and challenge for the lead at the moment. He's pressing Freddie Lindgren hard. Runeholter is the man up front. Jason Crump will be watching this knowing that he is edging ever closer to the 2009 world title. One big drive down the back straight for Gollob now. Can he steal second place from Freddie Lindgren? It looks like he's not even going to manage that. And Jason Crump has now got one hand on the World Speedway Championship.
Wow.
He knows it.
Unbelievable scenes we've just seen there. Gollob trying everything he knows. Crump now knows he needs 1 point to be world champion. Holter's delighted. He's on the way to the top 8.
Here's the result of a vital heat number 12. Runeholter the race winner then. Second place there went to Frederick Lindgren, who's chasing a top 8 place. An automatic qualification for next year. Thomas Gollob third. Scott Nichols at the back. And that third place for that man means that he is about to be denied the world title. Surely he knows that now. Reality is sinking in.
You can see it in his face, Nigel. He tried everything he knew there in that race. The normal outside sweep just not generating enough pace to fire himself into the action.
Here's how it stands after 3 rides apiece. Pedersen, Adams, Jonsson and Gollob all on 7 points, but those 7 points surely won't be enough for Gollob. Crump currently sat in 8th place on 5 points, but needs just another point to be crowned World Speedway Champion for a 3rd time. Will it be a lucky Heat 13? It's coming up after the break. Welcome back to the FIM Bydgoszcz Polish Grand Prix. A packed house here. They could have sold it out 3 times over. And Heat 13 is where the 2009 World Championship could be decided. But it won't be easy for Crump. That man side-footed off has eyes on the silver medal. Nicky Pedersen is the outgoing world champion, wants to finish on a high. Crump, though, needs 1 point, and the title will be his. Lindgren off the inside, desperate for points to finish in the top 8 and an automatic place for next year. Pedersen off 2, side-footed off, chasing the silver medal off gate 3. Crump off the outside.
Yeah, Crump off the outside's been a good gate tonight, and he can make it work from there. Pedersen won't make it easy for him. Certainly he'll want to finish on a high tonight. You can see the tension in the faces of the team of Crump. Crump settling down on the outside. Can he do it in style away from the outside?
Jason Crump then chasing a 3rd world title.
Oh, what a start!
What a sensational start! That was textbook from Jason Crump, who leaves his rivals trailing well behind. Pedersen is 2nd, Lindgren 3rd, side-footed off needs points for the silver medal. He's trailing at the back, disaster for the young Russian. But what about the man up front? As Jason Crump's pit crew watch on, and they know that he is less than 3 laps away from a 3rd world title.
Fabulous start from the outside from Jason Crump. He just knew that he was going to have to do something special there when he looked at the lineup, and he did. He delivers. Flew out of gate 4 and fired himself to the front. Barring mechanical failure, he will be champion.
Crump looking smooth and stylish up front. Nicky Pedersen is the man behind him in that 2nd spot. Side-footed off has got 3rd at the expense of Lindgren. We're into the last lap now. Jason Crump closing in on the 2009 world title. He is now going into turns 3 and 4. His pit crew believe. He believes. He is heading for glory. And Jason Crump once again is on top of the Speedway world.
Fabulous performance from Jason Crump. He's had that injury for the last 5 weeks. The 4 points he scored in Terenzano, absolutely vital. But here tonight has been absolutely professional, on top of his game. Picks up the trophy, fully deserved.
Nicky Pedersen, the first man to congratulate him. That is great to see. Saifudinov, who's chased the world title for almost the entire 2009 season, was there to congratulate him as well. The man from Australia, born in Bristol in the United Kingdom. His father, Phil, was an accomplished Speedway rider and finished on the rostrum in the World Championship himself. But tonight, Jason Crump is on top of the world. He is the world champion. Lee Adams, his fellow countryman, congratulates him. He won't want the bumps after all his recent injury problems.
Exactly. But certainly there you can see the congratulations from the team. Pedersen over again. That is terrific sportsmanship from him. Ollie Olsen there. Everybody congratulating the new champion.
Here's the result then of Heat 13. Jason Crump, the race winner, with Nicky Pedersen second. Third place went to Emil Saifudinov, a blow for him in the chase for the silver medal. Lindgren at the back, a blow for him in the race for the top 8. But it's all about this man celebrating with his wife and children. And that is a great moment for Jason Crump.
Indeed it is, and there must be a lot of relief in there as well. We'll see it again. What a start this is. Flew away from the outside, and he knows now it's in the bag. Such a wonderful feeling. He'll just be thinking, come on, the motorbike's just got to keep going. The team urging him on. Again, drops the clutch, absolutely bang on. The bike lifts on the clutch all the way to the first corner. Textbook stuff from there. And out in front, really comes under not too much pressure. The perfect way to pick up. He looks to the heavens, says, yes, thank you very much. What I've been through in the last 5 weeks. Picks up his 3rd world title.
Thank goodness for that, says Jason Crump, the new world champion.
Congratulations, sir.
Man, that's... I didn't expect it to happen 5 weeks ago, and it was a hard pill to swallow at the time. You know, I thought my season was over, but the midway part of the season after Cardiff, I was in a situation where everyone's telling me I'm world champion, you know, but there's still 6 Grand Prix to go. What do? Do you go and ride like a lunatic and, you know, try and do what I was doing, or do you try and protect your lead? And, you know, there was definitely Grand Prix where I went to, and I thought, you know, if I can come away with 10, 12 points, and I'm okay. And that's not me. I'm a racer, you know, and I'm here to go for it. So now the pressure's away. Hopefully next year I can burn on.
Yes, congratulations to Jason Crump from everyone around as we move on to heat number 14. And a big race for these riders. Hans Andersen needing big points here in his chase for a top 8 place. Can Rune Holte stage a late charge for the top 8 tonight? Lee Adams in his last Grand Prix would love to go out on a high. And Andreas Jonsson, set fair in the top 5, is off the outside as Jason Crump enjoys a celebratory cup of tea.
Fully deserved. Smiling now, relaxing in his pit bay. That man on the inside, Hans Andersen, he's not relaxing. He's desperate for points.
Yeah, big race for these riders, and Holter's made a great start from gate number 2 as Jonsson sweeps around the outside, and Hans Andersen's in a spot of trouble here in 3rd place. He needs to do better than that with Jonsson holding that 2nd place and Lee Adams trailing at the back. Don't rule out Lee Adams, he'll go for it. But the lead is with Rune Holte.
Rune Holte looking good once again out in front. Just that blip in his 2nd ride where he failed to score. But since then, he's been absolutely flying, looking good out in front. Disappointment at this stage for both Hans Andersen and Lee Adams, who are out the back. Hans Andersen particularly needs points. Only got 2 on the board at the moment. 3rd place here won't be enough.
Yeah, 3 points from 3 rides would be a poor show for a man chasing a top 8 place. An automatic qualification for next year's SGP. The lead, though, is with Rune Holte, looking very impressive. This will take him through to a semi-final appearance once again in Big Gosh. He rounded off last season in style. He's doing it again here tonight in front of this packed crowd. Jonsson 2nd, Andersen 3rd. Lee Adams is struggling to make an impression at the back as Holte goes over the finish line in style. He's a happy man, and quite rightly so, because he's in the semi-finals.
Gutsy stuff from Rune Holte, determined to make the top 8.
Holte, the race winner then. 2nd place went to Andreas Jonsson, who also is through to the semi-finals now. Hans Andersen in 3rd place, and Lee Adams at the back. He is set on 7 points, so still needs 6 points to get through to the semi-final stages. But Rune Holter, very, very impressive, Kelvin.
Good stuff from here from Rune Holter. Lifted a bit hard there, but just managed to control it enough to hit the first corner. Foot off the foot peg and fires himself down the back straight. Tight stuff there coming off the first corner between Jonsson and Hans Andersen. But Rune Holter, you've got to take your hat off to him. For so long, he looked dead and buried in the Grand Prix series, but he moves on to 9 points. And the second half of the season, he's been in top form.
Well, heat number 15, and it was a fine ride from Greg Hancock, the 1997 world champion, away from the start. He was up against Adrian Mudzinski, the wild card, but Hancock, chasing a semi-final place, moved on to 8 points with Mudzinski second, Nichols was third, and Harris at the back in the battle of the Brits. Disappointment for Chris Harris at the back then, and no points from 4 rides, and wondering whether he'll be in the Grand Prix next year. Last chance saloon for Hans Andersen, needs points in his last outing. He knows he's under pressure and in a bit of trouble here. Here's the standings then after 15 races of this Grand Prix. Rune Holter, Nicky Pedersen, Andreas Jonsson all level on 9 points apiece. And look at the battle for the semi-final places with Seb Ulemek breathing down the neck of Sayfutdinov, Adams, and indeed Thomas Gollob, who's out in the next race.
Gollob once again changing his equipment, certainly. He's struggling to find the right setup last time out. He just couldn't find the grip around the outside he wanted, the speed that he normally generates around here. But he'll be looking to finish on a high now, Nigel. He'll want to win tonight.
Yes, Gollob will be looking to win the meeting and claim that silver medal ahead of Emil Sayfutdinov. Won't get the world title, but there's a battle of the poles here. Ulemek, Vanacek and Gollob on the inside 3 positions. And Kenneth Bier, desperate for points here as he chases a top 8 place. The race for the top 8 and automatic qualification is hotting up beautifully here as we look at heat number 16. And what about that from Kenneth Bier?
Super start from the outside from Kenneth Bier. Under pressure, only 2 points to his name so far, and he fires himself to the front. Gollob's out the back. Certainly not what he wants. He's struggling tonight. Something about the track conditions just don't suit him. He's out the back and really has work to do.
Bier has the lead ahead of Ulemek with Vanacek third, and Gollob is going wide, but he's not making any ground, which is unusual around here at this magnificent Big Gosh Arena. The lead is with Bier. 3 points here would be a massive boost in his race for the top 8, and Gollob now putting Vanacek under pressure.
Yeah, Vanacek is riding too wide, and that's allowed Gollob up the inside, and Gollob's tried that outside line. It just doesn't work this evening with the blue groove down low. You've got to get it on it. Bier out in front, chased hard by Ulemek, but Bier's riding a stormer here.
And Thomas Gollob knows that he will still be under a little bit of pressure from the teenager Sayfutdinov for that silver medal here, because he's only going to get a point. But that man, Kenneth Bier, is on his way to a massive victory in his hopes and aspirations for a top 8 finish in the Grand Prix. And that, of course, would securely book him a place in the 2010 Grand Prix Series. Bier the winner then. Fantastic ride from start to finish. Seb Ulemek was second. Third place went to the main man, Thomas Gollob. Still a bit of work to do for him tonight. And Gregor Vanacek was trailing at the back there.
Yeah, Thomas Gollob clearly frustrated tonight. Things are not going his way. 2 third places in his last 2 rides. Not what he was looking for.
Still the silver medal on the line and a top 8 to be decided after the break. Welcome back to the FIM Big Gosh Polish Grand Prix. A terrific atmosphere. Packed house here, and heat number 17 with the newly crowned world champion Jason Crump in the red helmet colour, and the man who's bowing out of World Championship Grand Prix Speedway, Lee Adams, in the blue helmet tonight. Here's the lineup, heat 17. Crump off the inside, Adams off gate 2. Kenneth Bier, who had a wonderful ride in heat 16, he's off gate 3 and still needing points to get into the top 8. And Scott Nichols is facing up to his last Grand Prix ride of the season. This is heat 17.
Yeah, Jason Crump, it'll be interesting to see how he reacts now. I sense that potentially he might just run out of steam here. The job is done. Lee Adams, of course, will want to finish on a high. Kenneth Bier still looking for points.
By draw on again, a long way to the start of the green light. Oh, and Kenneth Pierre, magnificent once again. He is responding to the pressure superbly. Scott Nichols is second, Lee Adams is third, Jason Crump at the back.
Super stuff from Kenneth Pierre. Really, when the chips were down, he comes good. Gate 3 has been a graveyard all night, and he fires himself to the front. Scott Nichols all over the back of him, and Adams is all over the back of Scott Nichols. It's a good race. Adams wants to finish on a high here. He certainly wants to make the semi-finals.
Kenneth Pierre looking absolutely magnificent, because this would put him on to 8 points, and it would give him an outside chance of getting into the semi-finals on the count-back system. Pierre on his way to victory, his second successive victory.
Adams.
Look at Adams, though.
Brilliant stuff up the inside there. Pierre slow out in front, and that Adams was able to line Nichols up, and he's still second place away from Scott Nichols there. Super stuff. Pierre's out in front. Adams second now. Super Speedway.
This would put Lee Adams on to 9 points. That would get him into the semi-finals, no problem at all. And Pierre on his way to another race win, and 2 race wins on the trot will really stand him in good stead on the countback system. He came under pressure from Lee Adams towards the end, but Kenneth Pierre has responded in style and has now given himself a great chance of an extra ride in the semi-final. Adams was second, a hard-fought second spot there, moves him on to 9. Scott Nichols was third, and Jason Crump trailing at the back, but understandably so.
Yeah, no surprise there with Jason having already clinched the World Championship. But Kenneth Pierre makes a smashing start from gate 3, but he's not very fast out in front, and they're all queuing up behind him. Nichols initially, and then Adams takes advantage of Nichols trying to move away from the blue groove, squares the corner off. Perfect Speedway, textbook Speedway up the inside. Near enough takes Scott Nichols' left leg with him. Certainly there you can see Kenneth Pierre's team urging him on. Back-to-back victories could just be enough to secure his future in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, he's responded when it mattered most. Look at that score, 2 straight wins, just 2 points from 3 rides, and then those 2 wins. Brilliant for Kenneth Pierre. Here's the standings then. Runa Halter on 9 points, a clutch of riders on 9, with the 8-point riders. Look how many riders are on 8 points now, with Cy Fudenoff back on 7, still needing points in his final outing to get into the semi-finals, and Frederick Lindgren and Hans Andersen in a bit of trouble chasing the top 8 place. Heat 18 and Seb Ulemek up against the clock here. 1 or 2 last-minute alterations to his machinery, and a big race for the 2 riders in gates 2 and 3 here. Ulemek inside, Andersen off 2, Lindgren off 3, Madzinski off the outside, but Andersen and Lindgren in contention for the top 8. A big race for those 2 as Ulemek looks at the tapes, and again, bit of movement to the start perhaps, but the referee has allowed them to get on with it. And here comes Lindgren up the inside. Andersen is in trouble. The lead though is with Ulemek, and coming through into second place nicely here is Madzinski. Lindgren third, Andersen at the back, and they are the 2 riders who need the points more than anybody.
Yeah, disaster for Hans Andersen. He's out the back. He got squeezed in the first corner and he came off second best. Lindgren also looking for a way through, but Madzinski, who started with 2 zeros, has now found the key to the track and is in there fighting hard. Ulemek's having the Grand Prix of his life here. Hasn't ridden so well all season long. Here in front of his home crowd is riding a stormer. But look at Hans Andersen. So disappointing tonight. Really hasn't found things easy at all.
Well, this would put Ulemek in the semi-finals on 11 points. Madzinski under a bit of pressure from Lindgren.
Oh, super stuff from Lindgren to get up the inside of Madzinski. Madzinski just missing the blue groove and losing momentum. And Lindgren was there ready to pounce. But will it be enough?
Well, these 2 points could be precious for Lindgren, but Andersen is not going to make the top 8 cut for the 2010 series. He's going to have to rely on a pick from the organisers, but Seb Ulemek, a happy man. The Polish fans are happy. He is through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Ulemek. Has found the Grand Prix series tough this year, but tonight he's ridden brilliantly, and he's through to the semis.
Second place went to Frederick Lindgren, a hard-fought second spot there. Third place was Adrian Madzinski, and trailing at the back and out of contention tonight, Hans Andersen, who only manages 3 points from 5 rides.
Good stuff from Ulemek here. Comes under threat initially from Madzinski around the outside, but he remains composed. Look at that move there from Freddie Lindgren, surging into 3rd place, literally shoving Hans Andersen out the way. But Ulemek rides great out in front. Madzinski makes a mistake later on in the race that allows Lindgren to get up into 2nd place. Will that be enough for Lindgren? Time will tell. Ulemek rides the stormer. Disappointment for Andersen out in 4th place.
He knows his night is over. He knows he will not finish in the top 8. frustration all over Hans Andersen. He's going to have to rely on a pick for the 2010 series. He's desperate to get back in.
Indeed he is. It hasn't worked out for him this year, and he's a better rider than that.
Certainly is. Seb Ulemek on the leaderboard right now with 11 points. Halter, Pedersen, Adams, Jonsson, 9 points apiece. It's very, very tight in the race for the semi-finals, with Greg Hancock and Emil Sayfutdinov closing in with one race to go. Nicky Pedersen is out in heat 19. How he'd love to round the season off in style, and going off the inside is Chris Harris, who hasn't scored from 4 rides. Pedersen's off gate 2 and has got 9 points to his name. Now Rune Halter is already a point ahead of Freddie Lindgren in the battle for the top 8, and Gregor Valacek goes off the outside in yellow. Lindgren still thinks he's got a chance of getting into the top 8, but Halter is disappointing him here, whatever happens. But Halter will look for a good result here to add more points to his tally, but it's a great start from Harris, who hasn't scored all night. Where's he found that from? Halter second, Nicky Pedersen coming around the outside. Halter's got into 3rd place now. At the back is Gregor Valacek. Lindgren watching this race, but he still has to be aware any time now that he won't make the top 8, Lindgren. That's going to go to Rune Halter. The lead is with Harris still. Sensational.
What a move there. It's super stuff out in front. Chris Harris once again makes a brilliant start from the inside. As you rightly say, Nigel, why couldn't he have done it earlier on? He's under pressure though. Rune Halter charging hard in 2nd spot. Relegates Nicky Pedersen back to 3rd place. Harris is in control in front now. Rune Halter having a great night at Speedway.
Yeah, the lead then with Chris Harris of Great Britain. We've seen him win the British Grand Prix at Cardiff, of course, but it's not been his year this year. It's not going to be Freddie Lindgren's year either. We can see him in the box there. That's the Swede watching his monitor as Rune Halter has that 2nd place. Nicky Pedersen 3rd. Gregor Valacek at the back. Chris Harris is going to round off the 2009 Grand Prix schedule for him with a victory. Rune Halter gets 2nd place, and that moves him on to 11 points. Lindgren knows that he, like Hans Andersen, has got to rely on a pick from the organisers to be in the Grand Prix in 2010. Harris a happy man to round off with a victory, and Rune Halter getting 2nd place there, and he's heading through to the semi-finals comfortably. Harris the winner, Halter was 2nd, Nicky Pedersen was 3rd. That puts him on 10 points. He's safely through, and Gregor Valacek at the back from Poland.
Well, Chris Harris rides a stormer here to finish off in style, but it's been a disappointing overall. Rune Halter stealing into 2nd place, 11 points from his 5 rides. He'll be delighted with that, and securing that top 8 place. His team delighted, certainly. And you've got to give him an awful lot of credit. Rune Halter really has showed plenty of guts and determination out there tonight. Chris Harris away from the inside, brilliant 1st corner, and stamps his authority on the race. Pedersen round the outside early on, but slips back to 3rd place to allow Rune Halter into 2nd. Valacek finds the pace just too hot for him. Harris will be pleased with that, but also frustrated. He'll be asking himself, why couldn't I have done it earlier? The new champ congratulates the efforts of Rune Halter of securing that top 8 place, but certainly it's been a long, hard season for Halter.
Certainly has, but 11 points tonight with Ulemek on 11 as well, safely through to the semi-finals. Can Sayfutdinov make it through? He's in 10th place right now. Chris Harris congratulates Halter on a top 8 finish and guaranteed qualification for next year. Heat 20 then, a big race for Sayfutdinov off gate number 2, and Gollob off the outside chasing the silver medal, remember. Hancock, Sayfutdinov, Jonsson and Gollob. Gollob off the outside will be looking to make it pay here, Kelvin.
He will do, and they'll need to find something a bit better than last couple of times he's been on the track, because Jonsson and Sayfutdinov ride here, so plenty of competition for him.
But he's made an absolutely brilliant start. Look at that from Thomas Gollob. He's got his act together. He knows that the race is on for a silver medal here. The man at the back is Sayfutdinov. He's going to wind it on and charge his way through for sure. Gollob has that lead. 2nd place is Andreas Jonsson, and Sayfutdinov all over the place, trying everything. He's got 3rd spot right now.
Yeah, Sayfutdinov lifted there and then crashed against the fence down the straight. He does it once again, using the berm up against the fence to try and find a little bit of extra speed. So very close to the back of Andreas Jonsson's bike. Gollob makes a brilliant start and fires himself to the front. That's more like it. Chased hard by Jonsson, even harder by Sayfutdinov.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Gollob here. Saifuddinov still working hard, but the 2 points that Gollob will pull clear of Saifuddinov here will mean that he is going to be on the verge of the silver medal now. Surely this is going to end Saifuddinov's hopes of a semi-final spot on the count-back system. He's not going to do enough, and Thomas Gollob is heading for the runners-up spot in the World Speedway Championship. That'll do it, and the fans know it.
Yeah, it was a disciplined ride there. Brilliant reaction from the fans. Gollob had to keep it down low. The outside ride just not working tonight. Super stuff from Gollob.
Certainly was. Gollob the race winner there, and that is a big, big win for him. Andreas Jonsson was second. Third place there went to Emil Saifuddinov, and trailing at the back was Greg Hancock, who finishes on 8 points and will just miss out on the semi-finals. Gollob, though, happy. He's missed out on the world title, but he knows he's going to finish second in the world in 2009.
Yeah, clearly delighted. Frustration for Saifuddinov, who battled so hard. He's had a fabulous debut season. 3 Grand Prix victories to it at the age of 19. Unprecedented in the Grand Prix series. We see it again. Brilliant stuff from Gollob from the outside. The steam flying off the back tyre in the first corner, and he fires himself down the back straight. A good battle down the back straight between Jonsson and Saifuddinov and Hancock. You could throw a blanket over them there as they go around that first corner. But Gollob out in front, more discipline this time. He knew he had to hang on to that 3 points to make sure he gets into the second place in the world.
Well, here are the standings ahead of the semi-finals, and Jason Crump has made the semi-final, perhaps not necessarily wanting to do that. Maybe thought that he could have rested up ahead of the presentations, but they are the semi-finalists, the top 8 there, and we await the draw for the semi-finals. Here's the gate stats.
Well, the inside and the outside have been good all night long. Gate 3, of course, Kenneth Pierre, the only winner from there, but certainly be interesting to see which way they go for the semis.
Ulemek going for the inside and Jonsson for the outside, with Lee Adams in his final Grand Prix in Gate 2 and Kenneth Pierre in Gate 3. And Holter taking the outside gate in the second semi-final, with Thomas Gollob going for gate number 2 there.
A surprise, particularly when you give the inside to Nicky Pedersen, such a dangerous customer.
Lee Adams in his final Grand Prix. Can he bow out in style? Find out after the break. Welcome back to the FIM Bydgoszcz Polish Grand Prix. It's the first semi-final here. Kenneth Pierre chasing the points, and in the top 8, of course, for the 2010 series. Lee Adams in his final Grand Prix with Ulemek off the inside. Lee Adams looking for a party piece to round off his Grand Prix career. What a fabulous career it's been. Kenneth Pierre, Gate 3, and Andreas Jonsson steady this season in the top 5 and comfortable for 2010.
Yeah, he's had a steady season, that's right, and he won the Grand Prix in Voyens. There's the new champ looking on. He's waiting for the second semi-final, but Lee Adams, can he make the final tonight?
Well, Jonsson is the man on the outside in the dirt, looking for the maximum drive away from the start. And Jonsson has made a decent one, but look at Ulemek. Well, he's having a fairy tale night, and Adams has come through into second place. And Adams would love nothing more than a place in the final in his last Grand Prix. Ulemek up front, Adams second, Jonsson third, Pierre riding hard at the back.
Super first corner from Lee Adams there. We saw Thomas Gollob do it earlier on tonight. Adams there fired himself into second place, took Andreas Jonsson by surprise. Kenneth Pierre riding around the outside. That hasn't worked tonight. But Ulemek, once again, having a great night at Speedway for him. Coming under an immense amount of pressure from Lee Adams, but he's hanging in there at the moment.
Yeah, very calculated ride from Lee Adams, holding Andreas Jonsson at bay. Kenneth Pierre coming on strong around the outside in the white helmet colour here. Can he get past them? It looks like he's not going to, as Ulemek holds that line. He's under a bit of pressure. Adams is riding a very calm race in second spot, holding that inside line, and it looks as though Adams, unless Jonsson can get past him here, is going to end up in the final in his last Grand Prix. The win is with Ulemek. The Polish fans are delighted, and Lee Adams is in the final in his last Grand Prix, Kelvin.
Super ride from Lee Adams. Really did make a smart move in the first corner and then rode smart behind Ulemek. No mistakes. Ulemek, though, rode brilliantly out in front.
Certainly did, with Lee Adams in second place. Andreas Jonsson was third there, and trailing at the back was Kenneth Pierre, but he's had a good night despite his elimination there. Lee Adams with Barry Briggs there, the New Zealand legend, of course, celebrating the fact that he's in the final.
Watch this first corner from Adams. He misses the start from gate 2, but he creeps around the inside there and takes Johnson by surprise. Ulemek hangs on out in front. He's not the fastest rider out there, but he's sharp away from the tapes. Look at that. Super stuff from Ulemek. He is a good starter, and he comes good there. And Lee Adams there, great round the first corner, and his team are delighted. So you see, big smiles for Adams tonight.
Quite right too, he deserves it. It's been a wonderful career for him, and it's great to see him in the final in his last Grand Prix. The second semi-final, controversy early on when this happened. Nicky Pedersen and Thomas Gollob are coming together on the first turn. Tony Steele, the referee, put all four back in, Kelvin.
Yeah, tough first corner between Nicky Pedersen and Thomas Gollob. Pedersen getting too much grip as he enters the first turn and literally takes the bike away from Gollob. Little bit fortunate, I believe. Clearly frustrated there, Gollob. But Pedersen's back in the rerun, no exclusions.
An unsatisfactory start, according to the referee, Tony Steele, then, as we look at the second semi-final rerun with Nicky Pedersen going off the inside in the red helmet. Thomas Gollob goes off gate 2 in blue. Jason Crump gate 3. Rune Holter going off the outside, and one man who'll be desperate for victory is the man in blue, Thomas Gollob. He would love nothing more than winning here in Big Gosh. Pedersen, though, the outgoing world champion, maybe just looking to make a message in the final GP. And oh, that was a tight first turn again. Gollob's got the lead as Holter comes around the outside, and Pedersen is third, and oh, how tight is that?
Very tight indeed. Gollob's just moved off the line, and Pedersen's in there. Gollob's out of control. Clearly not happy with that. But he missed the blue groove, and Pedersen was there. And when you've got Pedersen in the race, you know you've got to cover all the angles. Out in front, Rune Holter's riding a stormer, having a great night for him, finishing off in style. Pedersen's in second place, and Gollob parked his bike on the inside on the start and finish line.
And the race is going to have to be stopped, Kelvin. The race is going to have to be stopped because Thomas Gollob has left his bike on the track. He's not happy, but I'll tell you what, Rune Holter won't be happy either because he was winning the race. Pedersen is in there, and there's controversy here.
Well, clearly the fans are not happy. Yeah, Gollob's excluded. No surprise there. Definitely not happy about what happened with Nicky Pedersen, but to be honest, it was just hard Speedway. And as I said earlier, when you got Pedersen in the race, you got to expect this type of move. Down the back straight. Gollob underneath Rune Holter just smooths off the inside there. There's half a gap. And with Pedersen in the race, you know he's going to take it. There is slight contact, but I have to say that Thomas Gollob does make quite a meal of that. He should have really just kept going. There was no danger of him coming off. Frustration from Gollob.
Surely he's going to have to apologise for that, for leaving the bike in the track and causing the stoppage of the race. There's going to have to be some sort of apology from Gollob, particularly to Rune Holter, who was winning the race. He's got to do it all again. Jason Crump's got to do some extra laps, which is not what he wanted, really, after his injuries last month, of course. As we try again, third time of asking, second semi-final. Bikes roar, bit of movement to the start. Rune Holter, though, has got away with it.
Yeah.
Has got the lead once again, with Nicky Pedersen second, Jason Crump third, and Holter is kicking on.
Yeah, Holter got away with that. There's no doubt in my mind that he did jump at the tapes, and often you see the red lights come on, but with all the drama that's happened in the second semi-final, Tony's still just happy to get the race underway. Pedersen settles in second place. Jason Crump, don't think you're going to see him putting too much pressure on Pedersen here, but out in front, justice done here. Rune Holter deserves to win this race.
Yeah, Holter looking good here going into the last lap. The man who has represented Poland, of course, in Speedway World Cups, boarding Norway, but riding on a Polish licence, of course. And Holter is on his way to a fine victory here. Nicky Pedersen taking second place. He's on his way through to the final again as we go into the last lap.
Super stuff out in front from Rune Holter. He's controlling the race. Nicky Pedersen now comfortably settled in second. Crump knows that his night's over and he's probably relieved about that. But Rune Holter has ridden brilliantly tonight and he seals his place in the final.
Superb ride from Rune Holter, and he is on his way straight through to the final with Ulemek, Pedersen and Adams. And here is the result of the second semi-final. Holter the winner then. Second place went to Nicky Pedersen. Third place there went to Jason Crump. And trailing at the back was Thomas Gollob.
Yeah, smashing stuff from Rune Holter. You've got to give him a lot of credit because for 3 times he's had to do this and he still had the composure to do it, because so often you see it when there are reruns, the rider out in front's the one that gets hurt the most. He picks up the big win, he's through to the final and fully understand the big smile on his face.
So the gate positions ahead of the final.
No real change. The inside and the outside still the favourites. Gate 3 is the graveyard. Certainly no surprise to see the inside being taken and the outside being taken by the first two picks.
Nicky Pedersen has to settle for gate 2, and Lee Adams in his final race in his Grand Prix career is going from gate number 3. The final of the FIM Big Gosh Polish Grand Prix. What a fairy tale it would be if Lee Adams could win it. Ulemek inside, Pedersen gate 2, Adams gate 3, Halter going off the outside. The bike draw. We prepare for the start of the final. Lee Adams' last ever race as a Grand Prix rider. Who's going to win? Here what a start from Nicky Pedersen.
Fantastic start from Nicky Pedersen, reminiscent of the last 2 years when he was world champion. Fires himself down the back straight into the lead. Will it be his night? Adams back in 3rd place. Can he make any impact from there?
Seb Ulemek is second, Rune Halter at the back. Nicky Pedersen would really leave a nice little message for his rivals. Adams comes up the inside. That was very close.
Down the back straight, Adams neck and neck with Pedersen. Pedersen slams the door shut. Just for a moment, it looked like Adams was going to go from 3rd to 1st. Great stuff. And Adams is faster than Pedersen.
He certainly is. Pedersen would dearly love to win the final Grand Prix of the year, but Adams in his last ever Grand Prix is winding it on. You're quite right, Kelvin. It looks as though he's got the speed, Lee Adams. Is there any way past the outgoing world champion?
Not going to be easy. Pedersen's covering the line. He's not the fastest man out there, but as long as he doesn't move off that blue groove, the race will be his. Adams now switching to the outside, then back to the inside. A brilliant stuff from him, but Pedersen's in control.
Nicky Pedersen on his way to victory. He wins the FIM Big Gosh Polish Grand Prix. And after a year where he believes he's been in the wrong end of refereeing decisions, that is a message to his rivals, and he loves nothing more than winning in Thomas Gollob's own backyard. Pedersen the winner. Celebration time for the Dane. Second place, Lee Adams, whose Grand Prix career ends with the runners-up spot in Poland. Ulemek was 3rd, and trailing at the back there was Rune Halter, who's had a good night himself.
Lee Adams, it's been a fantastic night for you, but more importantly, everyone knows you're stepping down from Grand Prix. A fantastic career for you.
Yeah, it's just a nice way to go out, mate. It would have been great to get the win, and you know, we had such a fast bike pretty much all night, but you know, the starts were letting us down a little bit. But anyway, that's the way it goes. You know, we'll take it. You know, it's been a pretty tough year, and it's just nice to give all the boys, the sponsors, and you know, just give them something back.
Nicky Pedersen, probably the most unpopular man in the stadium right now.
No, of course not. You know, Gollob is the maestro here. You know, he's the king of Poland. You know, and no, they have to realize that it's racing. You know, I remember during the race as well, Halter did the same to me coming out of second turn. You know, so that's a little bit disappointing. You know, I did absolutely nothing to Gollob there. You know, so no, I'm so pleased with the boys today. You know, they worked so hard, and we wasn't feeling comfortable all night, but we were fighting, and I'll make one good start of the night, and that was in the final, and that's what you need.
Nicky Pedersen on top in Poland then in Big Gosh, and he has left a message for his rivals for 2010 for sure. Here's the final standings then. Crump, Gollob and Saifudinov on the rostrum in the World Championship. Greg Hancock in 4th, Jonsson 5th, Nicky Pedersen settling for 6th, and Halter and Bier getting the final 2 places. They are all assured of qualification for 2010. Lindgren and Anderson miss out on automatic spots. They will have to rely on picks from the organisers. And how nice to see Gollob and Pedersen shaking hands.
Yeah, nice touch that. Clearly frustration from Gollob earlier on, but everything's settling down now. Saifudinov has been superb this year, Nigel. Brilliant debut season in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, 3rd place, bronze medal for Emil Saifudinov. I'm sure he'd have taken that if he was offered it at the start of the year. And Thomas Gollob with his daughter there, settling for 2nd spot in the world title.
Jason Crump, 2009 World Speedway champion. It is really starting to sink in now from the look of you.
Yeah, but it'll probably take a few more days, mate. You know, it's just it's an awesome feeling, and I'm very proud to be world champion again, and you know, to beat all these guys that we're racing against. There's such a tough group of riders now, and I'm really proud, really happy, and very happy to be part of this Speedway Grand Prix now.
Many congratulations to Jason Crump from Australia, the new world champion. It's been a super series as the SGP goes from strength to strength.